It's a Snap. Good morning. What's going on? I got to address this question today. Golly gosh, I get it a lot lately. People every single day. People, what about this stock crash? I'm hearing about this crash is coming. The market's about to crash. What's going to happen? What am I going to do? Firstly, let's clear up some definitions. A crash is probably not the thing that you're actually worried about. A crash can happen in a day. You can have a flash crash. A crash is just a rapid movement in the market. And they happen all the time. A recession is the thing. When we have a recession, which is usually defined by 2 consecutive quarters of lower GDP, a recession is a thing like in 2008, the global financial crisis. That was a recession. And they also happen pretty regularly. So depending on where you are, go on Wikipedia, your list of recessions. Go and study these fucking things. If you're worried about them, study them. When you study something, you transcend the fear of it. So here we go, the panic of 1785. We've got the copper panic. We've got the depression of 1807. 1700s, 1800s, recession. What do we got here? The 1926. Around that time was the Great Depression, the recession, all these fucking things. The latest one is 2008. So, when someone asks me, do I think there's going to be another recession? Yes, of course. Golly gosh. In fact, here we go, Sunday morning. This is a nerdy thing to do. This is what I love doing, copying the tables, put it onto a Google Drive from the Great Depression through to the GFC in 2008, and you do some numbers. Duration, time since last. The average duration of these things is a year, and they happen every 4.9. Every 4.9 years on average, we've had a recession. Not a big deal. If you are aware of that, you invest accordingly. Now, let me tell you what's happening. This is a good way to get rich, by the way, if you want to prey on dumb fucks. This is what a lot of people are doing, and this is where I get a lot of my people asking me from. You take a stance on a particular direction, you become the doom and gloom guy, and you say, there's a crash coming, there's a crash coming, there's a crash coming, there's a crash coming. You can dedicate your entire life to there's a crash coming, and guess what? Every 4.9 years, you're right. And of course, if you study their career over a long period of time, they're right sometimes, they're wrong sometimes, but when they're right and when there's fear in the market, they cater to the fears, they scoop people up and say, don't worry, you're fearful, and you should be, because there's a crash coming, and if you buy my strategy, then you're going to be all right. And so they buy the strategy. They can bank a couple of $1 million every 4.9 years, and they keep doing the cycle. You do that for a few cycles, and you have financial independence, right? And when the market's booming, people feel good about themselves anyway, so they don't hate you. They forget about you. Who was that fucking guy who said there was a crash? I don't know what there was a crash. Anyway, my portfolio's going up. I'm feeling good. I got the dopamine, right? The short time horizons. They think that they only think a few months or a year or 2 years ahead, and they think in the boom market, there will always be a boom market. You know what? In fact, I better leverage up. I better go and get a big mortgage and leverage my investments. I better go get a margin account and leverage my investments. I'm going to double down on this motherfucker. I'm going to go into debt to leverage my investments so I can get rich quick. And then when the crash happens, they lose their shirt. And so the oscillations of the stock market is literally a physical manifestation of the psychology of the collective market mind. You can see psychology in a stock chart if you look. You can see the volatilities. And here we have an oscillation between unsustainable optimism and unjustified pessimism, and unsustainable optimism and unjustified pessimism. This is your greed, this is your fear, and it oscillates, but guess what? There's a mean, which is a word that came from medianus, of or that which is in the middle. The mean. The market mean is the middle point between the two extremes. If I draw my stock chart here, and I put the sol, and I put you've seen this drawing before, and here's your positivity, here's your negativity. These are your passions. The more emotional you are and passionate you are, the more that you'll buy into the extremes. The more balanced of mind you are, the more that you'll focus on the middle point. You'll focus on the mean. And for the stock market, that's approximately 8 to 10% per annum is just the mean. So if you're not generating this in your investments, you haven't even started the game yet. So first things first, you just buy the market. You can do dollar cost averaging and approximate this return over a period of time. You buy the mean. That's tier 1 of your investment portfolio to get to that. Then every 4.9 years, the market will literally go into a below mean situation. And so your second tier of your investments is weighting your dollar cost averaging strategy to buy more and more when you're below the mean. And what this does is it skews the mean because you're getting more and more packets of shares below the mean. And then you can go to 10, 12 just from that. And then the third tier is trading. That's when you can go short at the top, long at the bottom. That's when you're literally trading the oscillations of the collective market mind. And to do that, the reason, by the way, that most people don't succeed in trading is because they have fucking zero control over their own emotions. If you're in the emotion, the probability of you acting in a way that transcends the oscillation of the market emotion is very, very low. 0 to none. That's why most people lose. The people who win the game are the people who have the most mental stability and control. If you have been attending webinars, seminars with doom and gloom guys, look, they have a purpose, they have a place. I'm not judging them, their business model. It's fucking ingenious, really. But you don't need that crap. What you need to do is not leverage yourself out. You need to keep cash cushions. You need to have an ever-expanding income source, and you need to get some of that income and bloody save it. Saving is literally so underestimated in today's age. Oh my God. Save, build that liquid cushion, build that security. Then go and invest without loans or margin or leverage. Go and lock down your 8 to 10% first. Very few people, I ask people, I do not meet many people who are even doing 8 to 10% a year. Which is it's accessible. You've got the fucking internet. It's so accessible. Then you can go and trade and speculate and grow that thing and use margin and use leverage, and then you'll really accelerate. But guess what? You don't put both your feet in the water. You didn't bet the farm on that shit. People losing their shirts and all this stuff. I think they deserve to go homeless so that they fucking get their head in the game. This is what we have been teaching for years and years and years now. And look, what we teach doesn't sell as well as going out and being a doom and gloom guy. We're not catering to fear. We're teaching people fucking mastery. We're teaching them how to master their emotions, not prey on fear. So we're going to teach you the dynamics of volatility risk. No one ever talks about this because it's not sexy, it's not popular. But if you're not implementing something like a 10% volatility rule in your portfolio, the shit is going to hit the fan eventually. We're going to teach you how to read the collective market mind. We're going to teach you how to build a solid wealth pyramid, a pyramid of wealth that'll stand longer than the fucking pyramids of Giza. This is the way you do it. Save, invest, and trade. I was talking about the different tiers, earning your way to ever higher degrees of leverage. You need to know the dynamics of this thing. You need to know the difference between an investment and a speculation. We have a whole section dedicated to it. People freaking don't know this thing. Look, here we go. By the way, home ownership. If you don't have tenants and it's not income producing, it scores an 80. 100 is a gamble. Hit over 7,000 students now from 55 countries around the world. The feedback on this student wall is absolutely insane and ridiculous. We have more client submitted user feedback, testimonials, and messages of love than any other financial educator. I know I really don't push IP that much. I don't get on here and sell it all that much. I really believe that when the time is right for you, you'll sign up. You get it when the time's right for you. I'm not a really good salesperson or anything. I know that we just had the best fucking product. And when I get messages like I have the last couple of days, things like people getting conned into these get-rich-quick scams and schemes and all this stuff. People leveraging my bloody name and my photos to sell people, and people losing their shirt, and people worried about crashes, and they have no real understanding of what's going on. They're the kind of messages and the kind of things that when I see that come through, that I want to get out, and I want every single person in the whole world to read IP and do this, because I know that if you follow the principles that we teach, you will have a different life. Your financial destiny will be transformed.